They say that if you can learn to die well, you can learn to live well. Well, today we are going to be diving into something that is truly essential for us to learn how to live well and, of course, to die well. It's learning how to pause. Welcome back to Inner Space. My name is Danielle YS, and I am your guide through the edge of the unknown. Today, we are diving into what it means to pause, why it's so important and valuable for us to pause, and your next step to stepping into your powerful pause. I remember when I graduated from college and I was going through a lot of change and transition. I was pivoting my career. I was going through a breakup and I had to move out of the house that I had been in for so long. Everything felt totally uncertain, unfamiliar, and uncomfortable. I was trying so hard to feel comfortable that I was just doing more. I was learning more. I was taking on more responsibility. I was spending all of my time doing more, 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 more. And it wasn't until one day that I walked into work and just started sobbing in front of my students that I knew that something had to change. One of my students gave me a book that they had been reading. And as I started to sit with that book, the message of it was stop fixing and start feeling. In other words, stop doing and pause. Pause and feel what's coming up for you because it's not dangerous. It just is. It's here with a message. It's here for you. As I received that message, I started to meditate and I started to pause, taking the time that I needed to really be with the emotions and the discomfort that was coming up for me. And day by day, I started to see deeper parts of myself that I had hidden away for so long. Week by week, I started to feel lighter. I started to feel more in control, even though nothing in my situation outside myself had changed. And I felt stronger and more capable of moving through the uncertainty than I ever had been before. Now, this is what's possible when you step into the pause, when you learn to pause. Think of a time where you were going through some sort of uncertainty and you responded to that uncertainty with doing more, with filling up your day to stay busy, with taking on more responsibility, instead of just being with everything that was there for you already. What do you think might have happened if you had sat with that instead of doing more fixing? The answer is you would really find yourself, your deeper self. But what the brain tells us and the nervous system tell us in these situations is that we are going to fall apart. We are going to stop existing. We are going to be taken advantage of. All these things that our mind comes up with are stories that keep us away from the pause because that pause can feel so uncomfortable. But there's so much available to us in it. And that's why I deeply believe that the pause is so important. And that's why I teach people how to go into the discomfort in order to be in that pause. Let's pause here. What's coming up for you? What do you feel in your body? What is your mind saying? Is there a soundtrack? Is there a, yeah, right, that's never going to happen, or I'm not able to do that? Or what would happen if I pause, everything would fall apart? Notice what's coming up for you. And that's it. Just notice. Be in this space of pause and discomfort and see what might shift for you just being here. Take a breath in and a breath out. And maybe something already feels different. This is what's possible when you pause, especially in the world that we live in that is busy and go, 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 and rewards action and doing and movement and progress. We need so deeply to learn how to pause again, to come back to a place where we can be comfortable in stillness. Because in stillness and in the pause is where the magic is, where insight can arise for us. And that insight really is information that is guiding us back to where we are supposed to be. How many times have you been in an uncertain situation and you tried to fix it, try to figure out what the answer was, what the next right step was, what the solution was, and you just felt like you were banging your head against a wall? But then the moment that you stopped thinking about it for a second, maybe you needed a break to go for a walk, maybe you went to go get some water or a snack, and then insight came through and you said, I have the answer, I know what to do. That didn't come because you pushed. That didn't come because you were forcing it and doing more. I call that mooring yourself. MOREING. Doing more, more, more. It wasn't the answer. The answer was to pause. And from that pause arose your next best step. Now, this is not a fluke. This is actually what happens every single time we give ourselves that intentional, powerful pause. It creates space for insight to arise, and it always will, because you are then ready for it when you've chosen to pause. You see, the energy to choose not to do more, but instead to be still, to be with the discomfort, which really is just information. That choice is energy that says, I'm ready to know what my next real step is, my next aligned step. So this is a practice that we come back to over and over again, because the world is crazy, the world is uncertain, and there's so much happening inside ourselves and out there. But the moment that we can say, I'm going to take a second and come back to what's in here and not be afraid of it, not judge it, not want to change it, that is the moment where we invite in our next aligned step. And that is the moment where that next aligned step can be received, because we are ready to receive it. Another pause. Close the eyes or lower and soften the gaze just to see what's here for you. Breathing in and out. What's here for you? Maybe even a hand on the heart, the other hand palm facing up, just to listen to what's here. So far, we've seen what happens when we react to uncertainty, to change. We try to control it. We do more. We more ourselves, because doing more is safe. It is familiar. It feels like we are in control, and it feels like we are moving forward, when really, just like a boat that is on its mooring, we are just spinning in circles. But my dear, the second that we unmoor, just like a boat, and can go into open ocean, is the second that we actually start moving the way that we need to move. And that's the opportunity here. That's the intention. That's the direction that we can go. That is what's possible. We go out into open ocean, into that discomfort, and guess what we find? We find infinity. We find the depths of the ocean. We find all of the magic and the wonder that's available to us out in open ocean. And guess what? You are that ocean. You are that ocean. And by mooring yourself, you're hiding from yourself. You're keeping you from yourself. And really, what your life is about is coming home to that self, uncovering it, loving it, getting to know it, and sharing it with the world. But we can't do that if we're always doing more, if we're always pushing, if we're always going, if we're always doing, fixing. All you need to do in this lifetime is be you. And all you need to do in this lifetime is find you and share you with the world. And that is why I say that learning to pause is such an essential component of living well and of dying well. As a yoga practitioner, the last and final pose that we always come into at the end of our practice is Shavasana, final resting pose, corpse pose. Now, Shavasana is oftentimes the most difficult pose for most people in our society who are used to mooring themselves. All we do is lay on our backs, our arms open wide, our legs wide, and just be. We surrender. We close our eyes. We let go of everything that we're thinking of or trying or doing and just be. And that's the most difficult pose for so many of us because of the discomfort in the pause. And this pose is called corpse pose because it is a preparation for us to die. And now you don't have to wait until the end of your life in this body in order to practice dying so that you can live well. We can allow ourselves to surrender every single day as a practice for the end of this life, as a practice for life itself. Because when we can learn to let go and to be in that pause and just witness is when we start to live. It's when we're in open ocean and we can receive our whole self, where we can feel and acknowledge our whole self. But without that pause, without the stillness, without being in the discomfort that's there, we don't have access to this. And that's where we get into this mindset in our society that I'm afraid to die. I never want to die. And that's where we get people fighting death. That's where we get people doing everything that they can to avoid death, to avoid aging. But guess what? You can't escape it. It's part of life, an essential part of life. And in order to practice for that, in order to actually be able to live life fully, because after all, a life spent in fear of death is not a life at all. But a life knowing that whenever it happens, you will have experienced it all. You will have loved it all. You will have had and adored it all. That's living. That's a life that's worth living. And it all comes down to our ability to pause. It all comes down to our ability to be still, even and especially when things are uncomfortable, when times are uncertain, when change is upon us. This is the work of our lifetime. This is the reason that we are here in this world, in this body, in this life. So if you're feeling these words, if you're feeling the draw towards learning how to live and learning how to pause so that you can learn to live, there's so much available to you. There's so much possibility because in the unknown, all outcomes are possible. And in the pause, all potential is here for you. A friend of mine and I have created this space for the pause. It's called The Space. And it is a place for women who are driven and passionate and purposeful and going through transitions in life and in their career to pause. To have the permission to pause while things change around them so that their self can rise up naturally. It is a beautiful program that we are putting together, and it is a space and a container that doesn't really exist right now because in our world, we're always doing, we're mooring all over the place. And every single container is about doing more, learning more, achieving more, getting certified, all these different pieces where this space is just that space. Space for the self, space for the soul, space for the season. Because there's always going to be another season of life upon us and another chapter of uncertainty that comes through, because that's the beauty of life. That's the play of life. So if you want to dive in, and if you are a woman who is driven and deep and daring and feeling the uncertainty of life or career transitions, this is the place for you. This space is where we can be together and pause. And we'd love for you to join us. We are starting March 18th, and it's going to be a 12-week program. We hope to run it seasonally. This is a beta run, and if all goes well and people love it, then we'll be running it each and every season so that you can show up and join us any season when there is uncertainty upon you. And we'll be there to hold you, to love you up, and to pause with you. If you're curious and you want to join us, click the link below to join the space. We are so excited to see you there. We'll see you next time on Inner Space.